Good morning and good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. We're already here with Roger. I think we can get into it. Want to get right into it. Now you're not muted. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So we've got everyone here.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You woke up the squirrel in your technical difficulties are over.
Squirrel? Squirrel.
The squirrel that runs your generator or whatever.
No, that's today on Before Coffee. Von der Plas. Bullshit, that nitrogen policy cannot be otherwise. That's what it translates to, but I believe what they're saying is the nitrogen policy is bullshit, and that's it. BBB, largest in 6 provinces.
Another headlines. Crooks. Crooks. We got them. Good headline.
All provincial. UN nuclear watchdog. 2,500 kilos of radioactive material found in Libya.
Prosecutors meeting, investigating Trump, meet with Stormy Daniels.
Dilemma for the ECB, European Central Bank, fight inflation or save banks.
And also basketball stuff and football stuff and crazy stuff in the world. All together today on Before Coffee. Oh, it's 3/16. March 16th, 2023. Before Coffee. Camp.
All right, for our first news story, we're going to be talking about the local Dutch government, provincial governments, not like the election. I guess that's interesting because I think they may have gained a lot of traction because of the nitrogen policy, which is totally affecting farmers and not big pharma. Not big pharma, sorry. Big farm agriculture sector. Totally just affecting the farmers. It has nothing to do with how the agricultural sector is like getting less money. That's just coincidence, okay? Obviously, I've told which line I stand on in this debacle. So let's see, it's like a live blog, so I'm just gonna start it from the earliest. Wow, there's a lot of it. Of course there is, because this is Dutch website.
It's a 4-page read. Hit the highlights.
Yeah, right, I scrolled a lot. Okay, let's look. I don't know who the BB is, so I should probably figure out who that is. There's like 15, wait, actually let's count. There are 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17, 18, 19. There are 19
Running out of toes.
In the Netherlands as of this election, and I think only about 10 of those ever really get votes. So there are definitely ones that exist, but they never get any.
You do what England does. You get coalitions.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely
coalitions.
do.
Yeah.
So,
we just got normal people in nutcases.
The Bay has won with plus 15, so they gained 15 compared to the last election. And the FAD, which I Forum for Democracy, they lost. That's mostly lost. And all those votes that went to the Forum for Democracy went into the Bay-ish, right? They're probably not directly, but that's who lost the most, right? They went -10 election. I wish it would tell me what it is, but because this is written for Dutch people, I probably already know, right? Okay,
Stands for something
so the
in Dutch anyway.
Stands for Ranked Boeren and Burgers. Okay.
Is that like God's guns and?
Yeah. I believe it's for farmers and citizens, right? So there's supposed to be the People's Party, the Workers' Party.
The love threes.
Yeah, yeah.
So it means what now? Borscht is one of them. What's the other one?
Boers.
Oh, they said borscht. I was like, oh boy, give me a little beats.
Which is farmers, and then Burger, which is citizen. The Waching, which is living society. It says here, the Bay was want to become the biggest, and they have become the biggest. Oh, that was their goal, and they have reached their goal. They based their entire election on the nitrogen policy and how it's bullshit because, you know, there's no way we can do this. The government's just trying to control us. Attention is being paid to the election results in the Netherlands and countries around us. The site for Belgian VRT is going to be big with it. New peasant party, I guess that's what they're calling it. Scratch to the largest party. So it started as the peasant party, and now it's the largest party in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
In Zeeland, Flevoland, and Drenthe, which are 3 of the provinces, already determined that BBB has become the largest in all 3.
Are they based on nitrogen policy?
Okay, so 2 years ago, during the pandemic, Netherlands passed law, or the Netherlands started enforcing a law that they passed 10 years ago. That was all farmers have to reduce nitrogen emissions. That's what we agreed to save the environment, right? Okay? That happened 10 years ago. So it had been 10 years, and they're like, hey, we should enforce this policy because this is the limit, right? You're supposed to do it over 10 years, so you need to continue doing it, right? And all of the farmers went to protest. You're making us lose money because we have to use less cows and less pigs. But secretly, behind the this is the stance I took. Behind the scenes, you find out that the people who were handing out protest flags, protest equipment, happened to be working for the big agricultural sector, the people that basically buy the goods from the farmers, right?
Right.
So, and it's actually really, it's like probably the biggest thing that happens in the Netherlands. It's like caused fractures between relationships, right? Like we don't talk to our neighbor anymore because Han and the neighbor got in a big argument about like you have to reduce nitrogen. Yeah, but the poor farmers, you know? Oh, the poor farmers. No, who cares? The poor farmers, you know? It's like think of the children, think of the farmers. They're struggling.
Yep.
Like
basically,
they're still gonna make money. Actually, it's gonna be easier for them to maintain their farm because they're not gonna have 50 cows. They're only gonna have 25 cows. That's way easier than 50 cows. They're just trying to reduce agricultural industry, right? They're trying to make it more manageable and less a giant thing that puts pollution in the air.
And there's always one side that wants to muddy the waters.
But it looks like here that the Bay set their entire vote for us. We're gonna stop the nitrogen policy. So a bunch of farmers and a bunch of people support the farmers.
Yeah, it's their build a wall, right?
They went from like literally 2 votes, like 2 plus 2 points. The party system to 12 points in the party system. They gained 10 total votes. They have the most votes. Voting power.
The disaffected got together. It's like when people build the wall, even though they even know what the hell they're even talking about. Build the wall. There's already a wall, first of all.
And I'm not studying this, so I can't say it's all populism, but it is at least big news that a party who literally didn't exist, politics, did become the biggest party, all based on having nitrogen emissions. He wants to put an end to the cabinet's deadline. I want to change it from 2030 to 2035. Van der Plas says, leader of the Bay, and it's mostly a lot of.
He just likes saying that. Yeah. Anyway.
Famously, one of the protests was getting the Dutch flag and putting it upside down in protest. Because there's a lot of farmers where I live, because I'm in the green heart of where all the farming is. There was a lot of upside down Dutch flags over the highway, on other people's houses. You know, so I've been seeing it for like 2 years. They've been protesting the importance of nitrogen.
Okay. Yeah. I wish this video would go away.
Netherlands.
Okay. Manhunt underway. Federal manhunt underway for a man who was former Governor Larry Hogan's chief of staff. Thank you for the video. It keeps popping up over the story. A federal manhunt is underway for Roy McGrath, once the chief of staff to ex-Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, after he failed to appear in court Monday for the first day of his trial on wire fraud and embezzlement charges. FBI and U.S. Marshals are both working on the search, according to a law enforcement official. There's that stupid ad again. The U.S. Marshals launched an investigative fugitive search after a federal judge issued a warrant for McGrath's arrest. McGrath's face is plastered on U.S. Marshal posters, which highlights charges against him for wire fraud, theft in programs receiving federal funds, and falsification of records from federal investigations. McGrath had surrendered his passport after his arrest, according to marshals, making it more difficult for him to try to leave the country. The marshals say they have no indications at this point that McGrath has tried to harm himself, and they're operating under suspicion that he remains at large. A law enforcement source tells CBS News that McGrath's family was at his home in Florida when FBI visited the house Tuesday. Chief of staff in Maryland lives in Florida. I mean, it's so suspicious right away. Like, what? What state you work for, man? The source is high profile, and widely circulating photos will make it difficult for him to remain at large. McGrath was scheduled to appear in federal court in Baltimore on charges related to tenure running the Maryland Environmental Services, which provides Maryland residents with services including wastewater management, composting, and recycling services. He joined Hogan's office as chief of staff in 2020 after served as MES executives. Before that, director for 3 years. Before that, McGrath was Hogan's deputy chief of staff. The prospective jurors were sent home. No juries selected. The Justice Department expects McGrath's trial will have to be rescheduled. New jury pool if they catch him. And the 2021 indictment against McGrath says he sought to enrich himself personally by using his position as executive director of the agency and his role as chief of staff of governor to engineer a payment from the agency he should not have received. Prosecutors allege that McGrath falsified his timesheets where he took a vacation to Europe and he stole money from classes at Harvard. McGrath resigned from Hogan's office weeks after assuming the chief of staff job after an investigation found he wasn't forthcoming about the $230,000 severance package he had received from a quasi-government agency, according to court filings. McGrath also pleaded. McGrath, 53, has been living in Naples, Florida, where that big, gigantic slime is washing on shore pretty soon. Yes. And was supposed to travel to Maryland for the trial, according to court records. Is it possible Hogan could testify in the trial? He was Maryland's governor from 2015 until earlier this year. He has denied knowing about or approving McGrath's severance payment. McGrath has pleaded guilty in all charges. His attorney, Joe Martha, has said he doesn't know where his client is. Unfortunately, I have no idea of Roy's whereabouts. I hope he's safe, and we will soon have another opportunity to speak. Martha told his lawyer, told CBS WJZ on Tuesday, he has yet to hear from his client. He confirmed McGrath's wife spoke to law enforcement at the couple's home in Naples, Florida, and he said she is cooperating with the investigation. Has no idea where her husband's whereabouts. So, is he in a swamp somewhere? We'll see. Your story.
In the swamp somewhere.
Well, I don't know. He looks like the type that would probably jump off a bridge. I'm
I didn't
just
know there was a type
speculating.
for that. All right.
Well, federal manhunt underway. There you go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. In other European news, we've got the UN nuclear watchdog. About 2.5 tons of uranium concentrate has disappeared in Libya. Inspectors from the International Atomic Agency, IAEA, Nuclear watchdog of the United Nations discovered this week this week. During an inspection at a site in an area not controlled by the legitimate government, 10 barrels of radioactive material found to be missing. The IAEA boss, Rafael Grossi, writes in a confidential statement with Reuters news agency. The inspection should have been done last year. It was postponed because it was not safe in the region. According to the IAEA, Libya insists that the 10 barrels are stored at the relevant location. The exact location has not been disclosed, obviously, because then a bunch of people were running there to get 10 barrels of nuclear material.
Yeah, can't get enough of that stuff. It's really hot. Literally.
The IAEA is investigating how it's possible that 22,500 kilos of uranium is no longer where it's supposed to be. Grossi is concerned about nuclear safety and speaks of a radioactive risk. Uranium concentrate can be enriched for use in nuclear power plant, but also for nuclear weapons. Under the rule of dictator Gaddafi, Libya tried to develop nuclear weapons. 10 years ago, after Gaddafi was ousted, the nuclear program was halted. Since the departure of Gaddafi, a power struggle has been raging in Libya between two camps, each of which has its own government. One is based in Tripoli and is led by internationally recognized Prime Minister Abdul Hamid Dibeiba. The other government, led by Fatih Bashagha, operates from the east of the country. Last summer, dozens were killed in a shelling between rival militias in the capital Tripoli. That summer,
Tripoli, say Tripoli.
Tripoli.
Tripoli, that's how you say it.
Tripoli. But no, I feel like it's supposed to be Tripoli because Poli is Greece Greek for city.
It's in the Marine Corps hymn. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli.
That summer, protesters all broke into Libya Parliament building in the eastern city of Tobruk. The demonstrators were furious about the political deadlock and corruption and poor living conditions. Presidential elections in Libya were actually planned 2 years ago, but they were cancelled last minute. According to the head of the parliamentary committee, elections could not go ahead on the basis of technical, security, and judicial reports. No new election has yet been held. Hope they find those barrels of nuclear.
My story?
Yep.
FBI investigates fire where Chinese billionaire, a Steve Bannon ally, was arrested. Guo Wengyu, a exiled Chinese billionaire with business ties to Steve Bannon, who has been arrested on federal charges out of New York. Guo owned the 152-foot-long yacht Lady May, in which Bannon was arrested in August 2020. Guo and Bannon have been under investigation in connection with the GTV Media Group, with the Securities Exchange Commission previously accused of violating security laws. The FBI arrested Guo, also known as Ho Wan Kwok, Wednesday morning in New York on charges he orchestrated a $1 billion fraud. Kwok is charged. They changed his name to Kwok now. He's either Guo or he's Kwok, okay? Both are the same guy. Kwok is charged with lining his pockets with money he stole, including buying himself, his close relatives, a 50,000 square foot mansion, $3.5 million Ferrari. That's a lot for a stinking car. And even two $360,000 mattresses, and financing a $37 million luxury yacht. Well, you got billions of dollars of other people's money, you're going to waste it. The SEC filed charges Wednesday that accused Guo and his financial advisor, Kim Ming-ji, of multiple offering frauds that targeted retail investors through online and social media posts and videos. Since about April 2020, Guo has conducted fraudulent securities offers that have collected raised at least hundreds of millions of dollars from investors in the United States and around the world. Unbeknownst to these investors, Guo and his financial advisor, G, misappropriated a large portion of these funds raised from a certain of the subject offerings in order to enrich themselves and their family members, the SEC complained. Okay, we are not covering the story of him being arrested. We're telling the story of the fire. The FBI's New York field office is also working to determine whether a two-alarm fire at the Sherry Netherland Hotel is linked to the arrest of Gu. Multiple law enforcement sources told ABC News the FBI agents were still inside Gu's apartment at the time the fire broke out at 12:02, sources told ABC News. Gu was arrested at 6 a.m. in his $32 million apartment in the building. Agents were forced to evacuate when the fire broke out 6 hours later. Firefighters were called just after noon on a fire at 18th floor. According to FDNY, there was a significant damage to Gu's 15-room penthouse. No one was injured in the fire. Can you say destruction of evidence? So he got arrested and had his butler burn the place, is what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
He's had his butler burn the place. All right.
Jeeves, you got your matches. Go ahead.
Okay, more from Europe. We've got inflation is still high. The economy is holding up reasonably well, but a storm has started in the banking world. Shaky U.S. banks cause unrest and turbulence in the financial markets and failing stock prices. Today of all days, the European Central Bank has to make another decision on interest rates. Central bankers face a dilemma, as they must fight inflation but also stand for financial stability. Inflation is fought by raising interest rates, but that can jeopardize financial stability. Actually, it is a trilemma, says economist Mohammed El Iran, because bankers also have to be careful not to frustrate economic growth with too high interest rates. It is certain that the ECB will raise interest rates again today by 0.5 percentage point. That is a no-brainer, says Carsten Brzezinski, chief economist at ING Germany. This was already promised in the last interest rate decision at the beginning of February. Refrain from doing so is not good for the reputation of the ECB. Then it looks like the ECB is a panic and lost its way because inflation is still high and needs to be fought. It is a 6th interest rate hike in 8 months fight against a high inflation. Energy prices are falling somewhat, but inflation is now mainly creeping into the prices of groceries and all kinds of services. Oh wow, that's pretty high. So we've got I'm looking at a graph. At January 2019, 2%. Then hiked at 14% at September 2022. That's a big, 14%.
Yeah, when they say we have a trilemma, like we're raising interest rates and it's going to make things cost more. And I'm like, the only reason they ever raise interest rates is because the only tool they ever have. There's nothing else they can do. Not a damn thing they can do. The inflation's going up. Well, let's cut inflation by raising the price of money. Huh? Right? That makes no sense. But that's what they do. Yeah. Okay.
Well, now it's at 7%.
Well, yeah, it's not going to go down. It's not going to go down. They're trying to stop people from borrowing. You raise your interest rates, people don't stop borrowing. That just makes it worse.
Yeah.
But the banks make more money, or somebody makes more money because they raise their interest rates. Somebody's making money somewhere. And it's like the people with money think that they got to control everything by raising rates and making poor people pay more. It's always the same strategy that never works. It just makes it worse. It makes it worse. What's the old saying? To a person whose only tool is a hammer, every problem looks like a nail.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. I'm talking too much. Are you done?
Well, I was just gonna say, the ECB, the European Central Bank, is unsure where they're heading and what structural effects of the energy crisis and the war in Ukraine are going to cause later down the line. According to Brzezinski, the Silicon Valley Bank is a niche bank and above all an American problem, so it's not really causing any problem to larger European banks. And also, large European banks do not suffer from poor risk management and one-sided hedging of capital like in Valley Bank scenario. So nobody needs to worry about that occurring. European banks, they're not doing that in European banks.
You would hope. You would hope. You have no idea what they're doing in banks, man. That's a problem. You have no idea. They ain't gonna tell you. They're laundering money. That's what they're doing. The big money laundering operation. When they get caught, they pay a fine. Big deal. They're making more money on the side.
All right, you're good to go for your next.
Stormy Daniels meets with prosecutors investigating Trump. Porn actor Stormy Daniels met Wednesday. Another person with two names. So she probably have her name in it, her real name in here. Porn actor Stormy Daniels met Wednesday with prosecutors who are investigating hush money paid to her by former President Donnie Slimeball Trump. Yeah, for a lawyer. How does anybody vote for this guy? Come on. Oh, I'm a Christian. I voted for the guy that pays off porn stars. Yeah, that's my deal. I'm so morally sound. The news emerges Michael Cohen, a former Trump attorney who orchestrated the payment, was giving second-day testimony for a New York grand jury looking into the matter. The $130,000 payment was made in 2016 as Trump's first presidential campaign. His first weeks was in its final weeks, and Daniels was negotiated to go on television. Her claims of a sexual encounter a decade earlier. Cohen made the payment arrangement to pay a different woman, not even naming her, but she was a Playboy model. Daniels met with and answered questions from Manhattan prosecutors and is willing to be a witness. Her attorney Clark Brewster tweeted. The adult film actor tweeted her thanks to him for helping me in our continuing fight for truth and justice. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office declined to comment. Later Wednesday, Cohen emerged from what he expected its final day of testimony. He said he would continue to provide prosecutors any information, any cooperation that they need. Now, estranged from Trump, Cohen said he isn't out for vindication or revenge. This is not about him. This is about holding accountability, truth to power, and everything else in between. Go, Michael Cohen! Daniel. No, he's one of my favorite dudes because he's just funny. He's hilarious. Actually, pretty funny. Daniels has said he has 2006 sexual encounter with Trump she didn't want to say no to, but didn't say no to. Trump says it never happened. That's why he paid her off. The former president's current lawyer said Trump was invited to testify before grand jury those plans to do so. Federal prosecutors in 2018 charged Cohen with campaign finance crimes related to payments to Daniels and Playboy model Karen McDougal, arguing that the payouts amounted to impermissible gifts to Trump's election effort. McDougal, who was paid $150,000, oh, that's why she's mad. She got cheated out of 20 grand. No, I'm just kidding. Alleged she had an affair with married Trump in 20. Cohen pleaded guilty and served prison time and was disbarred. Federal prosecutors never charged Trump with any crime. Manhattan prosecutors have been examining whether any state laws are broken in connection with the way Trump company compensated Cohen for his work to keep the woman's allegations quiet. Cohen and federal prosecutors said the company paid him $420,000 reimbursement for the payment to Daniels and to cover the bonuses and other support expenses. The company classified those payments internally as legal expenses. Falsifying business records could be a misdemeanor under state law and a felony if fudging paperwork is done in connection with a more serious crime. Yeah, that's basically the story. But again, I guess Manhattan got tired of, why hasn't this guy been locked up for the 8 or 9 other things he did? Yeah, we got to do it now? Okay, I guess so. Well, fine. You obviously broke the law because somebody went to prison for it. The same thing. Like he's even like, yeah, whatever. Okay. But that was federal. The federals are like, oh, we can't prosecute somebody for breaking the law. What the hell? That's going to start some kind of trend. Go ahead.
All right. In media news, this happened on Monday, but other things were happening, so I put it on something else. Japanese writer and Nobel laureate Kenzaburo O dies. Japanese writer and Nobel Prize winner Kenzaburo O has passed away. He was 88. O wrote novels based on his childhood memories of the post-war occupation of Japan and on his life with a mentally handicapped son. He died on March 3rd, but his publisher had only just announced this week. 1994, O was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature, second Japanese writer after Yasunari Kawabata in 1968. The Swedish Academy praised him for his poetic writing style. which he created an imaginary world where life and myth merged to form a disturbing picture of the predicament in which humanity finds itself. O's books about the American occupation of Japan after World War III, through the eyes of a 10-year-old boy, caused great discomfort in the country, including nuclear weapons, pacifism, and other political and social philosophical themes. In 2005, he was sued for libel by 2 retired officers for a 1970 essay about the island of Okinawa, where a U.S. base was established after the war. O wrote that the members of the Japanese army had forced civilians on the island to commit suicide during the invasion of the Allies in 1945. The court dismissed the charge and stated that the army had indeed been closely involved with suicides. Sorry, this isn't libel. You did, people were there and you saw them kill themselves. According to the Nobel Prize Committee, post-war humiliation deeply affected him and colored his work. He himself called writing a way to expel demons. He remained socially involved into his old age. O was born into a traditional family as the third of 7 children on January 31st, 1935, in a village on the southern island of Koku. The family had lived there for hundreds of years, and no one had ever left. The women of the O clan traditionally told stories and legends, influenced him greatly. His father died in the war, and his mother raised him with the books Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Wonderful Journeys of Nils Holgersson. Made a great impression on him. He left the village to study French literature at the University of Tokyo and started writing plays during that time. According to the Swedish Academy, his style was strongly influenced by Western writers such as Dante, Poe, Rabelais, Balzac, Eliot, and Sartre. Go.
Right. Ready to do basketball.
Ready to do basketball.
How'd you want to cover the games last night? There was 2 women's games, 2 men's games.
All right.
I'll give you the men's scores. The men's scores: Fairleigh Dickinson 84, Texas Southern 61. I don't know who you picked.
I picked FDU and Nevada. Oh wait, for the female.
Another win for you. Another one for you. Arizona State destroys Nevada 98-73.
Oh darn! So I lost one.
We both lost that one.
I have 3 to 4. 3 out of 4 for that.
And in the women's bracket, there was 2 games. Unless you have them, I'm gonna look them up.
I do have them open.
They won't just display them. I watched the highlights of those 2.
They're good games. They're close. Results are. We've got Sacred Heart winning against Southern U, 57-47. That's a win for me. I got that one. And then we've got Mississippi State winning against Illinois, 70-56. So
okay, those are those 2 teams advance.
And I got Mississippi State as well, I think.
Yeah.
So that's 2 for me.
I lost money. Let's just put it that way.
I lost money.
It wasn't a lot. It was like $1.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Okay, so you ready to do your brackets?
A lot of teams.
You ready then? You got your brackets ready? I got mine, so.
Gonna be a lot of listing, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna start in the South because that's on my upper left.
Okay, which one's the South? Alabama?
Yep, Alabama, okay. A&M, Corpus Christi. Who you got?
I'm gonna do Alabama for that one.
Me too. Pretty obvious.
That's like no brainer there.
1 versus 16. The 16's only.
16 win against the 1 seed. Like
it's happened 1 time in the history of college, men's college basketball. It never happened in women's college basketball. It happened 1 time, and it happened to Virginia. It was a 16. They lost to 1, right?
Yeah.
The very next season, Virginia won a national championship.
Yeah,
Isn't that funny? From the outhouse to the penthouse, as they said. Okay, right. Maryland versus West Virginia. We're gonna be homers.
Maryland, because I'm from Maryland.
Okay, we're both homers on this one. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and pick that second round game. Do you mind? Because it's gonna be on Saturday, and we ain't gonna be able to pick it.
Oh, okay. So you want to see whoever wins?
Yeah, we're gonna pick the second round game now. Alabama, Maryland. Who you got?
I don't know. I just want to go.
No pressure.
Home. I think it's okay if I just go home all the way. If they lose, they lose, right?
Okay, I'm gonna go chalk. You go Homer, I'm going chalk. We're gonna make these entries in blue pen. Okay. And then Monday we'll do a Sweet 16.
Okay.
Okay, next game we got is San Diego State and Charleston. It's a number.
I'll go with San Diego.
It's a number. What is it?
5 versus 12.
13 versus 4. Oh no, yeah, it is. It's 5 versus 12. I'm taking Charleston.
Okay. I'm taking San.
All right, and Virginia Furman.
Furman is purple, so I'm gonna choose that one.
That might not be a bad choice. I don't know. Virginia, I've got Virginia. And in that matchup, I've got Virginia advancing. So my picks totally destroy your back bracket.
Oh, no.
Who do you got between Furman and San Diego?
I think we'll go with San Diego.
All right. Then we got Creighton versus NC State in a 6 versus 11.
I'm going to go with NC.
I've got Creighton. I've already wrote these down. I'm just filling them in darker.
Yeah.
Then we have Baylor versus University of California, Santa Barbara. That's what UCSB is.
Yes. I'm going to go with Baylor.
Baylor.
That sounds like...
Let's say it. Baylor. It's actually... It's a Texas university named after a woman. Did you know that? There you go. They won the national championship.
I'm going to put NC.
And about 3 years ago, they won the national championship. Where do you got NC State? You got NC State winning that round.
If Baylor wins and NC State wins, then their bracket, I think NC State will win.
I've got Creighton.
Okay.
I've got Creighton beating Baylor. Okay, next one. We got Missouri versus Utah State.
It's like a lot of these places, I'm like, how do they play basketball? I'm just going to...
Okay, I've got Utah State. Arizona versus Princeton. You got Ivy League versus Desert. Tucson, Arizona.
I think I'll go with Arizona because they...
Okay. And the winner of that second round game is going to be...
I want to put Arizona.
Man, I've got them too. Purdue, number 1. We're going to the East region.
Okay.
East region, Purdue, Texas Southern.
Well, I'm pretty sure Purdue is favored.
Yeah, we're going chalk. Texas Southern, okay, we got Memphis with Coach Penny Hardaway versus Florida Atlantic.
Well, I think Florida's game will be affected by the big stink, so I'm going to go with... All the Florida teams are going to lose because they're going to
I had them picked for the upset too for some reason. We're both in the same wavelength there. We got Duke versus Oral Roberts. Just to play against it's one guy named Duke against another guy named Oral Roberts.
I'm going to do Duke because they have a really good marching band.
Pretty good basketball team, I hear too. Yeah.
Different sport, but...
Oral Roberts, just two guys named Bob that won't shut up. Yeah. Anyway. I got Duke. In Tennessee, Louisiana.
I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think Louisiana's better at swimming.
Tennessee. I got Tennessee also. Oh yeah, we got to pick the second round of
I'm gonna
Purdue,
put Purdue for the first.
That's Purdue. You got Duke. I'm going to take Tennessee in the upset.
Okay.
I'm an upset-minded guy. They happen a lot more often in the men's tournament, so I might even gamble on some of these. Probably not. Not based on what happened last night. All right. We got Kentucky and Providence.
I'll go with Providence.
That's not a bad pick. A Big East school. They're a decent team. Kentucky's up and down sometimes. I've got Kentucky though. The next game I've got Kansas State versus Montana State.
I'm gonna go with Kansas because like Montana basketball. Okay, go.
Somebody they won their conference. Okay,
go capture a bull or something.
Hey Montana, we love you. Okay.
But I'm gonna put Kansas as winning that second.
All right. All right. And that's probably a safe bet. They are the national champions. Michigan State versus University of Spoiled Children. USC.
Oh no, my fellow spoiled children.
University of Southern California. Who we got?
I feel like I hear Michigan State a lot about sports. I don't know which sport they're talking about.
Tom Izzo's their coach. He's won at least one national. Maybe a couple
I know
national
Marquette, and I'm gonna pick Marquette for the next. Marquette is actually good.
Marquette. All right, so we got Kansas versus Marquette in the Sweet 16. Over the other side of the brackets, because we're going to be picking women's brackets tomorrow, so we can't do.
And I'm going to put Marquette as winning that in Michigan and
48 picks in one day. Tomorrow, too. Okay, Houston and Northern Kentucky. That's chalk for me. Chalky.
Oh yeah, they are number one. Hard to argue against that.
If it was Marquette, it's chalky in Milwaukee because they're in Milwaukee.
I'm gonna go with Auburn for the next one.
Auburn over Iowa. I've got both of those. I got Houston advancing between those two. Yeah, I got Miami, Florida, and Drake. We have a rapper playing against the whole city.
I think Drake's gonna win all by himself.
Drake is just gonna pull out some. He's gonna drop some. What do they call it? He's gonna drop some bars on him. That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna drop some bars on him.
And I also put Kent State. Oh.
I got Indiana beating Kent State, and I've got Indiana beating Drake.
Okay. And then
Iowa and Pittsburgh. Iowa State and Pittsburgh.
I want to vote for Pitt again, but like.
You think they can't win twice?
I don't think. After watching a lot of esports, I never believe anybody can win twice.
I will say Iowa has a pretty good offensive team, but they don't play a lot of defense.
Iowa and then Xavier, with Xavier advancing.
Xavier. I have Kennesaw State. The only reason I say this because I heard their coach interviewed on the radio the other day.
Okay.
And I'm pulling for them. And there's always a team like this that comes up and.
I have a friend from Penn State, so I'm gonna go with Penn State for the next one.
Okay.
And
I've got A&M because I like their coach.
I'm gonna go with Colgate because you need to keep your teeth clean. With Penn advancing.
Texas and Colgate. I've got Texas because they beat Kansas just recently, and I ain't gonna sneeze at that. They kicked Kansas's ass up and down the court, as a matter of fact. And then I've got Iowa beating Kennesaw.
Okay.
That's it for the Midwest region. What do you have in Texas? Colgate and Penn State. Who'd you have?
I said Penn's gonna win.
And Iowa State. Why did I say Iowa? It's Iowa State. There's Iowa and there's Iowa State. They're both in this tournament. Did we hit Iowa yet?
No, I'm at Kansas and Howard.
The West region. The West, okay.
I didn't know Howard was so bad. I thought Howard would be good.
It's Kansas State. See, wait, because we said Kansas before, in the East region, and it was Kansas State.
Yeah.
I was like, why is Kansas State not ranked? Kansas not ranked one. Okay, Kansas versus Howard. Who'd you pick?
Kansas is probably gonna win.
Yeah, they're gonna win. Probably.
Works.
Arkansas and Illinois.
I'll go with Illinois.
I got Arkansas.
Kansas winning again.
I got Kansas winning that one anyway. All right, and we got St. Mary's in California.
I'm gonna go
Virginia
home.
Commonwealth.
I'm gonna go home with St. Mary's.
St. Mary's is actually in California.
I know.
And VCU is closer to home because it's Virginia Commonwealth. So UConn, which is Connecticut.
They have a dog, so I'm gonna go with
Iona.
UConn.
They have a dog. Oh yeah, they're the Huskies. You're gonna go with the Huskies. Okay, so the
But I'm
Huskies
gonna go
won
with
the next round.
I'm gonna go with St. Mary's winning in the end, I guess.
Really? Okay. Okay, we got TCU, Arizona State.
Where's TCU, Texas?
Texas Christian University.
Ah, Christians. Okay, I'm gonna go with Arizona.
Crazy Christians.
Arizona
I
State.
I think basically most of these guys are Christians.
I know, right? But they put in their name. And then Gonzaga, that's a cool name.
Gonzaga's perennial powerhouse, yeah.
That's a really
TCU.
cool name. And I'm gonna put with Gonzaga winning overall there.
And I've got Gonzaga winning that round too. Okay, next, last four, we got Northwestern, which is in Chicago, basically.
I'm gonna go with
State.
Boise.
Okay, Boise.
Then
Boise
UCLA. I know
and I've got
those
UCLA.
guys are good. And then UCLA winning overall. And that's our middle bracket.
And that's us filled out to Sweet 16. This will go much shorter on Monday. Tomorrow we did a women's bracket, the same thing.
I'm showing
you. Oh, your camera's down here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm showing
Oh, that's what you filled out?
Big camera.
Woof.
It's very messy, but I can read it, so that's all I've been.
You gotta print this thing out right here.
Oh,
you got
yeah.
a printer? Yeah, you print it.
That's
the women's bracket.
I'll print one out.
That's the men's bracket. Okay, print it out.
Okay.
But it didn't go slow.
Okay, this day in history is running out of time, or whatever. Richard Stallman, American computer programmer, was born in 1953. Bernardo Bertolucci, Italian director, was born in 1940. Jerry Lewis, American comedian, born in 1926. Joseph Mengele, German Nazi lowlife, was born in 1911. More events on this day. Russia annexed Crimea in 2014. On this day in 1968, the My Lai massacre. On this day, Vietnam War U.S. soldiers dispatched on a search and destroy mission killed as many as 500 unarmed civilians in the hamlet of My Lai, considered a stronghold of Viet Cong. And what is the My Lai massacre? Only one person ever was punished for that.
Oh, really?
And he was let out of prison after. I don't know, he didn't serve too long. And, also on this day in history, Ferdinand Magellan, sailing under the Spanish flag, on his circumnavigation of the globe, reached the Philippines, securing the first alliance of the Pacific Islands for Spain.
Nice.
James Madison, the fourth president of the United States in 1751, was born on this day. Happy birthday, Jimmy Madison! I said, in 1802, the United States Military Academy at West Point was originally founded. So happy birthday to the Army's little Army training school in there in West Point, New York. American author Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter was published or purchased. Okay, man. That's a lot of stuff. I loaded you up. Information. U.S. Marines captured the Japanese island of Iwo Jima in 1945. A place I've actually been. Like I slept there.
Yeah.
On the beach. And that's today's news in March 13, 2023.
Alrighty. That has been Allison here from the Netherlands, remarking on how the farmers, the peasantry are taking over. Watch out, bourgeoisie. They're coming for you. And we'll see you tomorrow for finding out who sucks at guessing. Well, is it tomorrow? Who sucks at guessing brackets? Men's team,
well,
right?
There's going to be 16 men's games today. 16. So
we're going to find out who sucks at
It's awesome
guessing.
Television. It's awesome television. Live television is always almost... There's like there's going to be 3 or 4 buzzer beaters. Like there's going to be some guy...
Feel free to fill out your bracket at home.
Yeah.
And
you may be seeing this after the tournament.
And we'll
feel
see you tomorrow.
Feel free to gamble on all my picks and blame me personally. Because I am not like these guys on the radio that hide from their picks and go, that guy told me to pick -4 and he lost by 22 points. You know?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and blame him, and he's there in the radio next day going, I'm not indulging to make those picks. So these are for entertainment purposes only. I'm telling you to make these picks. I'm telling you to make these picks. Anyway. And hold me personally responsible for the low life I've become. Yeah. All right, so have a good day, March 16th, 2023. The weather's better today. No wind, not much wind. And I can go look for that fugitive now.
All right.
Former chief of staff. He's probably hiding somewhere in this town. All kinds of nefarious stuff going on here. Next time, before coffee. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons. And follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.